In the heart of Peru, mummies are being pulled from ancient graves.
We think that there is a whole family inside, 3, 4, 5 individuals.
Warriors, mothers, children. Each is a messenger from the past. From one of the greatest empires the world has ever known. Out of the Andes, they carved a civilization of staggering wealth. It was a violent land of earthquakes and volcanic mountains that pierced the skies. And yet, they conquered it and forged a great nation. For less than a century, it glittered like a jewel in the Andes until a dark force cast a shadow on their sun god and destroyed nearly everything the Incas had created. Today, the scattered remains are threatened by a growing population and the appetite of treasure seekers. Now it's a race against time as archaeologists struggle to save the last traces.
These people did something extraordinary here in the Andes. Peru's past should not be forgotten.
This is a very important work because it helps us to understand our past.
Mummies are like time capsules. They can teach us so much about what life was like 500 years ago, but we're losing them so quickly.
It's a fragile legacy the Inca left behind. But with every piece that's rescued, with every layer that's peeled away, the past is coming back to life. This was a child of wealth. What was his life as a subject of the Inca, here on the far edges of the empire? And why was it cut short? We may never have the answer, but for other children of the empire, archaeologist Johann Reinhardt has found some shocking answers high in the Andean peaks.
I spent over 20 years climbing in the Andes, and I've been pretty lucky and been able to find some incredible things up here. It never ceases to amaze me that the Incas managed to climb up to these altitudes. It's really tough.
That's son of a gun. Can you imagine what it was like trying to do this 500 years ago? Those guys were something else. They obviously had to have been climbers. I mean, they had to know how to do this.
Up here amidst these incredibly high peaks, the Incas were conducting their most important rituals. The Incas didn't just break physical barriers, they broke, even more importantly, a psychological barrier. They actually entered into the realms of the gods. They worshipped all kinds of gods. There were gods for the sun, for the moon, for other stars. But the mountains in particular played an important role because they were perceived as controlling the weather. That was the reason they worshipped the mountains with such important offerings. In 1999, I went with a team of archaeologists from Peru and Argentina to Mount Yuyayacu, which is 22,000 feet high on the border of Chile and Argentina. This is the world's highest archaeological site. We found 3 incredibly preserved Inca mummies.
All 3 were children, sacrificial offerings to the gods.
One, unfortunately, had been hit by lightning, but it was still intact. I always wanted to look into the face of an Inca. And I never expected to be looking right into the face of an Inca child. When I pulled back the cloth, it was feeling like I'd just gone back in time, and all of a sudden I was there with this girl, thinking what it must have felt like to be offered to the gods. She must have had both a phenomenal courage and also, I think, a great sense of responsibility.
500 years later, this sacrificial child is sharing her story. Analysis of the DNA has revealed that 2 of the mummies might well have been related. Perhaps one family offered 2 of its children to appease the mountain gods.
Mummies are the real time capsules because they take us back in time in a way that nothing else can. They provide the kinds of information that you can only get through bodies, through human beings.
Mummies might be the most precious legacy left by the Inca. Those from different parts of the empire provide different pieces of the puzzle.